All right, welcome to the morning dump. Clearing the pipes on connectivity news. Damn, that has a good ring to it. The morning dump. Clearing the pipes on connectivity news around the world. Wow. Epic. Epic. All right, so start from the top here. Verizon's in talks to buy EchoStar's wireless spectrum. Did you know that Verizon is looking to, or in the process of actually negotiating, acquiring AWS-3 spectrum licenses from EchoStar? What is that even going to do? Well, the question is, why is EchoStar even selling that spectrum? Don't know. But let's stay tuned. Wonder how much that's going to cost. Probably a pretty penny. A pretty penny. The government did shut down last night, and that is definitely going to affect some stuff within the telecommunications sector within the government. So let's stay tuned for news on that. Let's see here. Recent network disruptions. Australia had an outage, a network disruption for their 000 emergency services. More close to home, we have Mississippi and Louisiana. They had damage to, guess what, underground fiber lines provided by AT&T, causing widespread 911 outages. If these organizations, if these public safety establishments would mandate, on top of having fiber as a mode of connectivity, also having true path diversity with fixed wireless fiber, there wouldn't be any 911 outages in these call centers. But the network stack, the network design, the topology out there these days is not correct. You can't offer a 911 call center a 5G backup. That's a joke. That is literally an absolute joke. If you want to have a diverse backup connection to something like fiber, you need something that's just as fast or faster, that's truly diverse, and yet still going back to the same data center. The answer to that is, guess what? Yeah, it's this. Look at your screen. Check that out. It's fixed wireless fiber. This is truly path diverse from all the underground last mile infrastructure. Mississippi and Louisiana, you wouldn't have had a widespread 911 outage if you had the correct network infrastructure in place. And that's pretty much around the country. Stop thinking 5G broadband, 5G mobile is the answer. It's not. It's a shit connection. And that's the truth. It's a best effort residential grade connection. I don't care if you're going to bond it together with 4 SIMs, 3 SIMs. You put 3 shitty connections together, you think you're going to have one good connection? No, you're going to have 3 shitty connections, and that's just the way it is. You can't make gold by knocking rocks together. It just doesn't work. People have tried that for thousands of years. It truly doesn't work. What does work is what you see on your screen here. Last mile path diversity with fixed wireless fiber. That works. This works. This is diverse. This is a primary mode of connectivity. Truly primary mode of connectivity. Look, if you put all your eggs in one basket, right? Look, the picture you see on your screen, this is the fiber on the top picture, the long rectangular picture. That's in Utah. That outage took out half the state. And guess what? They were being told, oh, this is a redundant connection. We got backup, blah, blah. Wrong. That is redundancy to the 10th degree. Why are you paying for redundant connections? Hey, if you're going to go buy a stock, are you going to buy 17 different stocks from the same company but using a different entity to purchase each? That's essentially what buying redundant fiber is. You need diversity, and just like you diversify your financial portfolio, diversify your connectivity. Stop putting your eggs in one basket, and for God's sake, please stop buying 5G broadband thinking it's going to back up a fiber optic connection. It is not. It is never going to be. Just remember all the hype before 5G was launched. They said 5G is going to be, we're going to do telemedicine, ultra low latency. It's going to be the cat's meow. What happened to that? Where's that? Yeah, exactly. 5G is really 5G is really LTE 0.5. That's what it is. It's really good. Don't get me wrong. It's really awesome. But you're not going to get reliable symmetrical speeds. You're not going to get reliable ultra low latency. The same thing happens on a 4G and a 5G connection. When you congest that node, that tower, the service goes to dog shit. And that's just the truth. You know? Yeah, you might sell it. You might make lots of money, but your customers are going to be pissed when it doesn't work, and it has to work. Got to be educated. Fixed wireless fiber is the solution, is the answer for a diverse play. What you see on your screen here, this is all redundant. That's an auger that's sucked up fiber. The other picture on the left, those are quote-unquote redundant underground fibers. Come on, you got to be educated. You got to know what tool to use for what job. And that's really the most important, understanding what tool to use for what job. If there's a flood underground, if there's a manhole fire underground, do you think that the fire or the flood is going to bypass the redundant underground fiber? No. It's going to melt everything, and it's going to catch fire, or it's going to get flooded out. And your business, your enterprise is going to be not online unless you have a really good networking team and they deployed fixed wireless fiber. Then you're going to be set, because this is truly path diverse from all the underground last mile infrastructure. There's no way around it. Multi-gig fixed wireless fiber is scaling fast. 22 years in business, this wonderful company, Natural Wireless, year over year growth. Why is it growing year over year? The appetite for bandwidth, the appetite for diverse connectivity that's super low latency, that's super fast, that has the same characteristics as your underground fiber, well, that's fixed wireless fiber. That's why it's growing leaps and bounds. It beats coax and fiber on install time, cost per meg, and to boot, the installation time on a greenfield, that's a new install, is within days, if not same day if necessary, or next day. I'm going to repeat this again. 5G broadband still runs on best effort. It's not guaranteed speeds. There's no real SLA with 5G broadband. And there is zero diversity with 5G broadband. Oh, maybe you're like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, I'll tell you why. 5G broadband goes back to a tower, goes back to a network operator's tower. And that tower is being fed by what? That's a rhetorical question. It's being fed 9 times out of, let's call it 7 times out of 10 with underground fiber. So, no, it's not guaranteed. It's not diverse. There's no real SLA. 5G broadband, yeah, use it for your home, use it for your cell phone. Maybe if you have 1 or 2 users, it'll work. But for God's sake, please stop buying 5G broadband thinking it's going to take over as an alternative to a dedicated connection. It is not. And it is not going to be able to for the foreseeable future. I'd say at least 10 years, if that. Look, check this out. Ready for this picture? Let me flip this. Is that a good picture I'm sending here? Yeah. Verizon's selling this as a fixed wireless connection. It's not fixed wireless. It's sitting on a window. It's plugging into your home internet or your business internet, and it's rebroadcasting the cell signal to nearby devices. That's best effort. Period. End of story. Period. End of story. This thing, you drop ship it to a user. That's connecting to a tower. That's so old. I can't believe people still sell those things. Look, be educated. If you want to have if you want to do a mobile 5G data for your office, just turn your cell phone on and turn your hotspot on. You'll save some money. That works just as good. Boom. Check it out. So again, this was the morning dump. Clearing the pipes on connectivity news with Benjamin Tansky on the Fixed Wireless Access Show. You know what it's time for, people? I'll tell you what it's time for. It's time to go sell something.